Can Elon Musk just buy StreamYard already so we don't have – oh, my God.
Just the dual postings. Don't worry. I got rid of one. It's clean. We can repost the correct one. We're in business.
No, you're the man. Whichever post or stream you are joining us from, thank you for tuning in tonight, spending some time out of your Saturday to talk sports with us. Drop a comment in the chat. We're going to be we'll be getting after it with the chat. We've got a hi up there already. Welcome to the show, and let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear what teams you support. You've got we're going to be talking NFL free agency later in the show, so let us know which team or which players your team should be going after here in a couple weeks. So let me just get some notes here. There we go. Welcome to the Sideline Podcast. I shouldn't need notes for this part, right? Which is not. We don't need notes for this part, but anyway, rewind. Here we go. Welcome to the Sideline Podcast, episode 74. I'm Kevin Showalter. That is Jared Booker. If you love talking sports, building community, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We really appreciate that. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it helps us a bunch. So, we're here every Saturday, 6 p.m. plus or minus. It was a little bit on the plus tonight. Even though we were sort of ready, and then we weren't, and then we've got a little special add into the show here last minute. I won't steal your thunder on that, but tonight we've got what's trending in sports, college football storylines, NFL salary cap gymnastics, and then a little free agency frenzy in the NFL, along with a few other spicy things. Hopefully Booker doesn't take us down the Iran rabbit hole too much, but we'll apparently there's some
news, Kevin.
I don't know if there's any sports news coming out of Iran, but there's definitely some news coming out of Iran. So go ahead and follow us at political shows for that type of update. But all right, let's get into some what's trending here. I'll pass the reins over to you. What do you got anything for us here on this clip you wanted to show the fine folks tonight?
Yeah, so I mean, we were ready 10 minutes early, quite prepared. And then I realized that something had happened at the combine that people need to see if you haven't already. And so that is why we're like 8 minutes late. And I got to know if after watching what you're about to watch, does draft stock go up? Does draft stock go down? Or does it stay the same? I have my opinion, but I would love to hear yours. If you want to roll that clip.
One NFL player you model your game after or look up to?
I probably say Amon-Ra St. Brown. Type of grit he plays with, type of way he can have a positive impact, on the team without the ball in his hands.
What's trending?
What do you think, man?
You're going to give us a little TSP version of that, TSP Booker version of that?
So uncomfortable, man. I don't know that I could report. I'm not sure I could report with that guy. I'd ask that question and absolutely lose it. And I would probably stick around because of that. But that's not even the main clip. I mean, that's one of a few. Just the way he was answering questions, man. I don't know what's going down at USC. I have an idea. But that is just some strange behavior, strange way to answer a question.
Well, it's been a busy week of work and family stuff for me. So maybe I was living in a hole, and I did not see that until literally when we put it into the show. But that is electricity coming out of him. I hope he's a better football player than he is an interviewer. But incredible stuff there, incredible stuff. So, what's trending? What's been buzzing on X this week in the sports world that you'd like to talk about?
Let's touch bases on Arch Manning. So he is out. He had some surgery, minor surgery on his foot in January. It is off now, but Steve Sarkisian told ESPN that Manning is going to be limited this spring, especially early on. And so my question for you is, obviously this is not, oh goodness, our season is in jeopardy, but they're going to have to manage his spring workload. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried are you about Arch Manning, and not necessarily the talent, but his ability to prepare based on this news?
I will respond, and then can we rewind a little bit and finish up on trending sports? Just because I had a couple things I want to mention.
Oh my gosh.
It's all good.
We talked about that.
We even talked about it.
We literally talked about it.
It's all good. That
is trending. maybe
Well,
now.
I was like, we're just going to roll with it. So Arch Manning, I mean, obviously, you're talking about being prepared, and any extra reps that he can get with his guys this spring, I think is a good thing. However, I'm not too worried about this. I mean, we're talking a foot thing in February. Like, better now. If this happens in June or July, then I'm worried about it. If he misses a couple spring ball reps, he should be fine. But it's interesting. We'll see. We'll see what I think the expectations for Arch this year will be a lot lower, and it's not going to be like, hey, Heisman or bust. They still have a talented team in Texas, but I don't think it's going to. The expectation isn't going to be set like it was last year, where everybody thought he was a Heisman contender, and just didn't materialize. So I think this year he's playing a little bit house money. Go out there, get the ball to your talented roster, and see what happens. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on Arch Manning.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about what's trending in sports right now?
Yeah, let's do it. So Cowboys put the franchise tag on George Pickens this week, and I wanted to pull up I didn't do this, but I wanted to pull up the total cap number for Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott. What the over-under has got to be at least 150 million. I know Dak, I think, is sitting at like 60. CeeDee, maybe another 35. We're doing math here. Is that 120 million dollars between those three players? Jerry, he does what Jerry does, and maybe they extend him. But this is interesting, giving him a guaranteed contract. I don't think they wanted to let him walk away, but it's interesting. Is this going to work out for the Cowboys?
Does anything work out for the Cowboys is my question to you.
Yeah. Well, you know me, so I think the answer is no. Another thing this week, we had Kyle Pitts. He also got the franchise tag. I'm just curious. He's such an interesting player. I looked it up this week, and he's only 25 years old. A lot of tread on the tires, but he's been up and down. Like, he is the physical specimen, like all these tight ends at the combine this week. I mean, jumping out of the gym, running real fast, but especially Pitts. He had a great season last year, 80 catches, 1,000 yards, a couple touchdowns, I believe. But is he the long-term answer for the Falcons? They're obviously trying to figure out who their quarterback is, but do we think Kyle Pitts is a long-term play, or is this just a one more year? Hey, let's keep you for one more year and then decide if we want you to be, a long-term tight end there in Arizona, not Arizona, Atlanta.
I think I'm a Kyle Pitts truther, man. Like, I know as far as fantasy,
you really are.
He has been a disappointment year after year, except, I mean, he's had some big games here and there. And I think last year was a little bit better for him, but he is so young. I feel like, and he's done enough to keep that position. Like, it's not like tight ends don't go on the free agent market, and they are so disappointed with his production that they are like shopping tight ends. I think that he is doing enough to stay there. And I think as he goes, he's only going to get more experience. And if they can get a quarterback in there, I mean, I don't know if Penix is going to work out long-term or not, but I really do think Kyle Pitts has what it takes to stick around and be out there with, Drake London and all of that long-term. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I mean, obviously he's been franchise tagged, but I think he is the guy there, and Falcons fans should be okay with that. Maybe you're not okay with that with him on your fantasy team over the past couple of years, but as far as the team goes, the team dynamic, knowing the system, I think he's the guy, and they should be happy to have him.
Yeah, absolutely. Little bit of a pivot here. Another thing I thought was trending this week, Miami, Ohio, Redhawks. Are they the Redhawks?
They're the Redhawks.
They're a wagon, man. Have you followed any of their teams? I mean, we're talking March. It is March tomorrow. So March Madness is right around the corner. Have you watched any Miami, Ohio games this year? And we should have pulled up the article. There was something that came out today, I believe, on ESPN, where somebody had said if they don't win their conference title, should they be left out of March Madness, which I thought is insane. I mean, yeah, their schedule's not like murderer's row, but they have been so good this year. Like, I mean, they're putting up 90-plus points most nights. This team has to be in March Madness. I think they win their conference championship, But even if they don't and they finish second, like unless they get bounced in like the first round. But my question for you is, would it be more helpful for them if they go into March Madness undefeated, or do we want them to lose a game so that way, hey, they could go on a Cinderella run and not have the pressure of like, hey, you got to stay undefeated, keep up with that pressure come tournament time. So you never want to lose in sports, but do you think that would take some of the pressure off the Red Hawks there?
I think so. I mean, if that is going to be the determining factor, if they're not undefeated, they don't go, then obviously not. But I don't think that's the case here. And you want to talk about weak schedules? No offense, Gonzaga, but I mean, just a weak schedule, but like a perennial March Madness team that normally goes at least to the Sweet 16. So I think a loss and not winning would be maybe a humbling experience and a good thing for the Red Hawks. But if they're red hot, man, they're red hot. You got to have them in there. They're probably one of the more exciting teams that people will latch onto. And so I think a loss helps in this case, especially if you're going to make it either way.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as it's not because of injuries, obviously you don't want any injuries, but.
And then one other thing before we get into our college football storyline. So the NHL, I put in our notes, the NHL is back. I think it means what that means. The NHL has been going along. Kevin and Booker are back on the NHL train. Not that we ever left, but when it's football season, I'm not following the NHL as closely when football's not around. And hey, what are my Flyers doing? What's happening in hockey? So obviously we had last weekend kickoff Sunday morning, 5 a.m. I was more of a 6 a.m. start, but congrats to the USA winning gold. How about, did you see some of the NHL media this week? You want to talk about Lemon struggling with media? Like some of the questions being asked of McDavid and just some of these guys when they just lost a gold medal, and then you're going to like ask them those questions. It was getting a little chippy. I saw, I don't know who the player was, but somebody was going after Brady Tkachuk in one of his games. So just give us a teaser here. Where are you at with the NHL? Are you following the Blackhawks still? What are your thoughts on the NHL here come February 28th? The Buffalo, you've gone full.
I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, so I'm going Buffalo Sabres. And right now they're dog walking Tampa Bay in their own building. So, okay. I'm full send on the NHL, man. I think during football season, you and I both have tickets to the NHL train, but it's coach, it's economy. Yeah. We have we're right near the bathroom. It kind of stinks back there. But once football season ends, we're upgrading our ticket. And if you want physical play, and especially after, the Olympics, man, like in the USA, getting that dub, Canada being second to the USA, I know that hurts them a lot up there. But I'm full send on the NHL. And I think that what the Olympics does, they're getting these questions. These players are getting questions that a lot of them don't really have much to do with like their day in and day out lives. I know the USA team specifically, there's been some controversy. They're getting questions at the podium that may or may not have anything to do with the game they just played. And they're like, what how do I answer this? So they're not really necessarily prepared to have conversations like that, especially when it gets political. But it is exciting, man. It is really, really exciting. And so I'm full send on NHL. Go Sabres. They're looking good this year.
Go Sabres. Look at that. And I don't know where my mind was going there, but it was somewhere. But the last thing I was going to say on that, I posted recently, I love how scoring is up in the NHL. Like you don't see many 1-0 games score a goal in the first quarter, first period. Wow, look at me go. And then nothing the rest. Edmonton put up 8 goals last night. Like that is awesome to see. These teams, these players are so talented. So I think the NHL is in a good spot, and I can't wait to watch more and more. I'm also watching NBA. I know you're not big on the NBA stuff, but I'm still going to watch the NBA on the regular. So, all right, let's transition here. We teased our college football storyline, so we'll keep going. Any other thoughts you had there on Arch Manning before we jump into some of other college football storylines?
No, I think you covered it pretty well. Speaking of teases, Arch Manning is a tease for the Texas Longhorns. Like just so much expectation and has just not quite delivered to the level that people expected. But I think preparation does matter, especially at the collegiate level. and the ability to be full health in spring ball does matter. But I don't think that it matters maybe as much as some people. I mean, I saw that article on ESPN making kind of a big deal about it. I'm not sure it matters all that much. He's going to be ready to rock and roll, and I think he's going to be better this year than he's been the past two. So,
yeah. How about the drama in college football? Let's throw this one up here. Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bearcats, they got the badge of honor being the stadium on our backdrop here this week. I don't know if this is a badge of honor here. The Nip at Night games are incredible. They are suing their former quarterback, I think for $1 million is the number I saw, suing their ex-player and alumni for $1 million because of how it all went down in his transfer. I find this so comical, and I know where we're headed with this conversation next with some DJT talk. I have my initials backwards there, but we've talked about it for a couple weeks now. How do we fix this? This is such an obvious, like, what on earth is going on that we have colleges? Again, these kids need to learn how to honor contracts, but until there's parameters in place, like, don't be coming after Brendan Sorsby for $1 million when you're a university that is making ridiculous amounts of money on these players. I think it's not a good look for these colleges to be suing former players, and whatever the details are, I'm just like, what are we doing? What are we talking about here? What other storylines you got?
No, I disagree with you, man. I think that it may be a bad look, but what are the programs supposed to do? You've got Brendan Sorsby sitting at the table with Cincinnati saying, like, excited to play for Cincinnati football, signing this NIL deal, contracts, all of these things, and then he can just dip out. Like, I understand, like, the NIL is a big deal and, like, we need to get it under control, but, like, there has to be some protections for both sides. Like, yes, we have to protect the athletes and make sure they're getting paid, but, like, the university, no matter how much money they're making on these players, if players are allowed to just walk out on them despite contracts and deals, I think that's the business world. You have to be able to do that. You have to be able to do that.
I'm with you as soon as there's structure in place. But right now, when it's the Wild West, don't be coming after kids for $1 million when you are making, I don't know how much Cincinnati football made on their program last year. I'm guessing they are not hurting for cash in that football program. And so I hear what you're saying. They do need to learn some of these lessons, but until this stuff gets figured out, I just think it's crazy. But
yeah, what about this one? So there's an NCAA, a group of, and I don't know who's a part of it, but they're meeting and proposing a penalty change for targeting. And so I think that as we watch college football, we see this targeting happen, and it's like very subjective. Some things are called targeting that we're all, scratching our heads. Other times things are not called targeting, and we're like, what the heck? That seems like the most textbook version of that. So we understand that the targeting rule is broken. In your opinion, what change needs to happen so that we can balance protecting players and their health, but also, like, getting some objectivity here and maybe lessening the amount of punishment that gets doled out if you're called for targeting?
This might sound like a contradiction from me, but I think you go after their bank accounts on this. Like, now you fine them. Like, if you're gonna this whole, like, because what's the rule now? They get ejected out of the game and they're missed the next game. Is that correct? I missed?
Well, it's by the half.
College football.
So if you get ejected in the first half, then you miss the second half. If you get ejected in the second half, you miss the first half of the following game.
Yeah, I just, especially when it comes to, like, big games. I mean, we're talking national championship. This is affecting outcomes of games. No, if that guy's on a nice NIL deal, then fine him. And it should be probably proportionate to that. That's just, again, another mess to figure out. But I think that's a better way to go about it than it just seems a little harsh when it is, I mean, there's some egregious ones where I get the ejection. I think the ejection in the current game makes sense. It bleeding over into the following game, I think, is a bit, unless there's a clear, like, pattern with a player, I just think it's a little I think it's a little aggressive, especially in these big moments, these college, like when you're talking the college football playoff, that's going to impact that next game. I just think it's a little crazy. You probably disagree with me on that, but that's just what I think. I mean, go after their bank account on that one, not necessarily on the, when they're trying to figure out the Wild West of the transfer portal. So
yeah, I like that. Like maybe first, on your first targeting call against you, 5% of whatever your NIL is for that year. On your second one, 10%. I think that there are people that are called for targeting more often than others, and sometimes it is accidental. So like charging the same across the board. But I think money talks, especially now. So I think that's actually a good way to go about it, as opposed to ejecting someone out of a game. I'm not even sure I love someone getting ejected out of a game on something that has seemed so subjective. So yeah. What else you got?
I've got. Well, do you want to go? You want to go to Donald, or you want to? I've got one. I mean, the Donald is kind of close to this topic, and then we could finish up on the freshman.
Yeah. Well, we're not a political podcast, and
until right now.
No,
he's
not really.
bombing Iran right now.
I just got to know who, and with Alo sitting in the wings here, he's just sitting there, and we got his mic off, so he can't even say anything here. I wonder who's in more trouble right now. Is it Iran or is it the Miami Dolphins? I'm not sure. But apparently on March 6th, Donald J. Trump is supposed to be meeting with some NCAA commissioners from the Power Four, some celebrities, high stars from the NCAA, to talk about the game and how some of the things within the NCAA need to be hammered out and fixed. I'm just wondering, is there time on his schedule when he's got his finger on all these buttons for missiles and stuff to come and hang out with Power Four commissioners? Is that still on his list?
Yeah, the list, I didn't look in great detail at the list of people invited to this thing, but like I think Tiger Woods was on that list, so I'm just like, I get it, but like Tiger Woods, college football, I don't see the connection there. Obviously, he understands, marketing and endorsement deals, and like he has value to bring. The funny thing I saw was like, how much are these people going to be able to iron out at a Friday afternoon meeting? At the White House. So I don't know. This is classic Donald just doing his thing. I do think I was going to take this a little bit different place here with this type of topic, but I was like, we've been talking about the college football commissioner, Nick Saban, Josh Pate. What if Donald J. Trump is the next college football commissioner after he leaves office? I mean, again, we're not political, but that would be a wild move if he strong-armed himself into that position. Could you imagine Twitter and social media if that happened? That would be insane, but don't think it happens. But that's all I have to say.
I cannot even imagine.
Who knows who will be there and what will happen. But yeah, the White House has a lot going on, and clearly they're trying to – I mean, I think that there needs some oversight, like – whether that should be from the White House, I'm not sure. But I think somebody needs to step in and like, hey, let's like for the sake of these kids who are signing deals, the shady characters out there taking advantage of people. I do think there needs to be something. Is this going to solve it? March 6th, we will see. So, yeah. All right, final.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna let it go. I got to let that one go, or I'm gonna say something that we can't even. Can't even put on a short later.
We won't spend a lot of time here. We'll wrap up here with the college football storylines, but rapid fire. I saw an article this week, I believe it was on ESPN, college freshmen facing the most pressure in 2026. So I thought that caught my eye. We've got Tennessee quarterback Faison Brandon, Vandy QB Jared Curtis, Ohio State wide receiver Chris Henry Jr., Bama running back Xavier Crowell, and then Michigan running back Savion Hitter. What a name for a running back. So of those five, who would you say is facing the most pressure in 2026? I think the common theme there is all of them are stepping into a role with a really talented player that left behind. So of those five, who do you think is facing the most pressure this coming football season?
I'm going to say Jared Curtis. Faison Brandon is in there's a 3-quarterback race for the starter. Chris Hendry Jr. might get some playing time, but so many studs at Ohio State. Crowell is, I mean, he could work his way to the top, but you got Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere, and then Savion Hyder he could work his way in as well, but Jordan Marshall is listed as RB1, and Bryson Kudzal is also in the rotation there. However, here's something interesting. Jared Curtis, freshman 5-star quarterback for Vanderbilt, is already on the depth chart as the starting quarterback. So, and with what Vanderbilt has been able to do in the past couple years, you've got, I mean, he might be the biggest recruit that they've ever gotten, and he's now starting next year. I think by far, even though Vanderbilt, at this time, I would not put Vanderbilt on the same level of prestige as any of those other schools we talked about. But what Vanderbilt's been able to do and what Clark Lee has been able to do there, you're putting this 18-year-old kid in starting at Vandy after Diego Pavia's departure, assuming he does end up, he's gone. I think for sure Curtis has the most pressure. Do you have an opinion on that?
That's kind of like a backdoor of you giving Diego Pavia some love there. Also, is his name? How do you pronounce his name? I'm gonna keep going.
He's done.
Hitter.
Pavia, it's Hyder, but Pavia
Hyder?
is done because he's 38 years old. That's why he's done, and not because he's getting drafted by the NFL.
That was a little Pavia love from you there. It was a little backdoor of like, since such a good quarterback is leaving, there's a lot of pressure. I think it's Tennessee. I don't know much about Faison Brandon, but he probably was thinking he's going to be a backup, sit behind Aguilar. It's not looking good for Aguilar, just because the common theme is, they're not handing out these 7th, 8th year COVID years anymore, and so there's a lot of guys fighting for that extra eligibility. I'm not sure Aguilar is going to get it, and so now you're thrust into the starting job for a Tennessee team that's always talented, an offense that can go. And so I think there's pressure there because I think the Tennessee starting quarterback has more pressure than the Vandy quarterback. Obviously, expectations are rising for Vandy, but I still don't think that going into this season, they're expecting to repeat like an Indiana or like a Tennessee, a Bama, Michigan. So that's where I wouldn't put the pressure is there for Curtis because of, the high ranking, but the expectations in Vandy, I don't think the expectations are high because Diego Pavia is a junkyard dog, even though I can't say his name. So sorry, one more thing. So Hyder, can we just add an extra T in there?
Savion Hyder. Yeah. Wow. And the only reason I didn't put Faison Brandon at the top is because he's in a 3-way battle. McIntyre is actually the presumptive starter right now, but I mean, Faison could jump in there. I mean, it's very possible. And if he does jump in there, then I think that there's way more pressure if he does jump in there. But as of right now, the presumptive starter for Vandy is this freshman quarterback. That's the only reason I made that.
Yeah.
Decision.
I'm tracking. All right. Let's I think that's good. Let's put a bow on that for our college football for today, for this evening. And let's get Alo and Tyler here onto the show.
I'm ready though. I'm ready if you need me. All right, I'm ready. I'm looking right at the camera and I'm here. I'm not looking at my notes. How's it going, everybody? Thank you so much for jumping on with us. I wanted you to know that we are building something here, and it's not just content. It's not just content. It is community. And so if you believe in that, hit subscribe and roll with the TSP community.
What an electric let's just go here first. Welcome in, fellas.
I should have said it like Makai Lemon. That's what I should have done. Hey,
just
everybody.
all up in the camera. Yeah, I thought that was coming, to be honest. So I thought that was
missed opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome in, Tyler, Alo. How are you guys doing this evening?
What's up, guys?
Excited to be back and talk some ball.
Woo! It's good to have you, man.
Absolutely. Always nice talking on here.
All right, so we had a graphic here. 300 million. Maybe Alec Pierce gets 300 million. That we're not trying to mislead anybody with this graphic. The news this week, breaking news, Alec Pierce, 3 years.
The entire cap.
The first $100 million receiver, just like everybody thought. No, this week the NFL salary cap came out, 301 million. up 22 million in just one season, which is a pretty big spike. So I don't have the graphic for the folks watching, but we were all looking at it before show. Let's say, I guess, go around the horn here with our home team. So Eagles, Bills, Colts, Dolphins, and then anybody else we want to jump into. How are you guys looking on the salary cap? Is there some, are you in the red? Are you in the black? And what's your outlook for your team coming up here shortly? So Booker, why don't you kick us off with some Buffalo Bills?
Oh, we're in the red. According to your chart, we're in the red. So I know that restructuring, like there's things that they can do, but as far as any like big free agent targets, I am not sure there's any way we can get in the room with those guys based on how things are currently set up. So,
yeah. And they can always, I think the Bills GM is more of the train of thought to Mickey Mouse, the salary cap, and push out the void years. Like I think Bean does some of that. So I know you're in the red, but it doesn't mean that the Bills still won't be looking to spend here. I think sometimes it's like, hey, if the free agent will come, then we'll restructure and we'll make the salary. But Tyler, how are the Colts looking? How far into the red or the black are you? Are they going to be big spenders here in a couple weeks, or letting the market come to them?
I mean, I'm just going to enjoy looking at us having cap space for the time being because we got a lot on the table. We got to get out there. It's going to swing to the other side real quick. There's going to have to be some casualties. We got two big names we're going to talk about later, so I'll save it for that. But we got to find some ways to pay, and not a lot of room to do it with.
Yeah. Alo, how the Dolphins looking?
Oh man, we already talked about how the Dolphins are doing.
We're right. We're right there in the red. We're black, but you could technically say the red. But I don't really think we should be spending any money right now. I think we should be focusing on the draft. I think we should start thinking about getting rid of Tua, paying that off, and then kind of building the team this year in the draft and next year. To be honest, we shouldn't be spending no bread on anyone right now.
And if you
Miami
missed it
Dolphins
last
are on
week,
food stamps right now, man.
There you go. Well, if you missed it last week, we talked a little bit about shipping Waddle out of town, and at first thought it was kind of like that's a crazy thing to do, but then on second glance, that I think Alo's onto something. So yeah, okay, the Dolphins hoard the cap space, wait for a brighter day. The Eagles, I'm showing 13 million. I saw something this week. I mean, Howie Roseman is the master of, but I did see a graphic earlier this winter or spring, wherever we're at right now. This is a weird time of year, but where the Eagles have so much dead cap money already pushed into the future. I think they have the most in the NFL by a country mile. So that has me a little nervous. So we're sitting at like 13, I think up to 20 million. I don't need them to spend big, but there's a couple guys I got my eye on, and I'd like to see them make a move to say, hey, we still are a contending team. Let's act like it and bring in a win now player like a Jalen Waddle. Come on in, man. The water is warm in Philadelphia. We could get a little three-headed monster going. So any other thoughts, teams? I'll just recap here. We've got the Titans at 94 million, Raiders 89, and then you've got the Cowboys and the Vikings at negative 50 in the hole. The Vikings are negative 40 million in the hole. So those are some interesting ends of the spectrum. Obviously, how are the Cowboys? I don't know if that 56 was pre-George Pickens franchise tag, but I think I screenshotted that graphic before he signed it. So they might be upwards of $80 million in the hole. It's certainly a strategy for Jerry Jones there. But any other thoughts before we get to some specific players here?
I just want to talk about real quick the cap itself. I heard on the radio, ESPN radio, the cap has gone up 40% in the past 5 years. It's just like asinine money being thrown around. There's really no limit to the cap, right? Like there's at some point it doesn't like curve back around, right, boys? Like it's just going to keep going up.
Oh yeah.
Unlike my house, it's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't get it. I don't understand how Dallas has that much in the hole, and they just can keep kicking the can down the road. Same with like the Rams. I don't understand. how they do the gymnastics. Now the Rams are back on the other side; they're back on the good side. But how they stayed so good while they were figuring everything out, so they just have this much money on the other side. That much money for the Rams to spend going into the next season with how well they were built this year is a little scary. I'm interested to see what moves they make.
Yeah.
That just shows you how great of an organization they are.
All right, let's so we're going to break this into some bold predictions. We've got 3 big ticket items. They're not items. They're 3 big ticket people here. Alec Pierce, we got Malik and Kenny Walker. We've got a list of 10. This is from NFL.com of their top 10 free agents for the upcoming. So we're going to go kind of around here and pick apart some of these guys where we think they should go, our bold predictions. And what I was thinking about with this segment is 2 of the biggest spenders last year was the Seahawks and the Patriots. And so you often hear it said like, hey, you can't win a Super Bowl in April, in March, but it certainly did work out pretty well for the Patriots last year. There's a lot of people questioning all the big signings that they made. That's not always the path to winning, but it clearly worked out last year. So let's keep that in mind as we jump into this. So number 1, again, this is not our list. This is NFL.com. So if you disagree, then just, email them, text them, angry retorts there. So let's start with Malik Willis, the youngest talented quarterback. We've got some other quarterbacks out there, but a real hot commodity name in the free agency world. So Booker, who should sign Malik Willis? And then a part 2 is, does he get the Darnold Baker type of contract, like a 3-year, $90 million, $30 per year, or does he get the Justin Fields special, more of a 1-year, $20 million, prove it? Hey, are you going to a new place? Are you actually the dude? So, because I'm very curious on those 2 sides of the spectrum of what kind of money he's going to command. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on that, Booker? Who's going to sign him, and what kind of deal is he going to get?
I think it completely depends on who ends up signing him as to how his contract is structured. If it's someone with a ton of cap space, maybe they give him a 3-year, deal to keep him around because they can. But a name I'm going to first name a possible, and then I'm going to name my pick and why I think he should go there. And so the possible is the Raiders. So Geno Smith, I know that they're talking about drafting, or they probably are going to draft Fernando Mendoza. Geno Smith, 19 touchdowns last year, 17 interceptions, a QBR of 13.1. And so, yes, he can start, but that's really poor. And so I'm not sure he's even going to stick around. There's some uncertainty there. The question then comes to, do you want Fernando Mendoza to start right off the bat, right out of college, first year, or do you want him sitting behind somebody? And I don't know if Malik Willis is the guy that you want him sitting behind. I don't know. I feel like to a degree, Malik Willis is still quite a bit unproven. My number 1 pick, my dart throw here that I think makes sense, is actually the Arizona Cardinals. They are evaluating Willis. Kyler carries quite a large cap hit, but I'm not sure Kyler Murray is the man long term. He's not been able to really do what people have thought he would be able to do. And behind Murray, you have Jacoby Brissett and Kadon Slovis. And so I think that Arizona is real because there's reporting that they're talking about Willis, and behind Kyler, it's Brissett and Slovis, and that's not long-term certainty. So I think it's a strategic move, and Willis would give them some optionality there.
I like that. I like the Raiders is interesting. Tyler, you think that's the?
Well, I think the Raiders because they have so much cap space.
Kirk Cousins style, like. Yeah,
I don't know. I think if you take Fernando, I think Fernando's starting. But, I mean, I also understand maybe not putting him behind that offensive line. I think it really depends on what the Raiders do up front. They're probably going to be feeding someone to the Wolves because it's going to be a whole new offensive line, trying to get used to each other, a new system, all of that. So I don't know. Maybe the Raiders snag him just to put him out there to deal with that offensive line getting glued up and figuring it out while Fernando learns the playbook and learns from behind. But no, most likely he starts. I also like the Jets. I think that's a good place for Malik to go. That I think it would work for both of them. But yeah, the Cardinals is a great call out.
Yeah.
The poor Jet. Anyone who gets sent to the Jets, man, it's just like,
Yeah, I know. I'm like, don't go to the Jets, like anywhere but the Jets. It's like I think if the Raiders came knocking and I'm Malik Willis, I'm like, sorry, I'm not coming there. Like, I think they should be shopping in the old man quarterback range. Like, bring in a Joe Flacco. Hey, Flacco, you be our starter for this year. You tear out your knee, then we throw the young guy up there. That would make more sense to me. You bring in another young quarterback. I think if the Raiders call, unless they're going to offer him $250 million, but then why would they do that and draft a number one over? So that would definitely be a Raiders thing to do. But it would be interesting. If I was Malik, though, I'd say, you know what, let me go somewhere else. It's not going to have Mendoza coming behind me with all his one-liners. So
you never know. The Browns might just snag another quarterback for kicks and giggles. Why not one more?
Come on in, one more. They're drafting at least. This isn't a draft show, but the Browns are taking at least another quarterback this March or April. I mean, all right, let's move along here. Let's go. Jalen Phillips, pass rusher. Alo, this one's near and dear to both of our hearts. Former Dolphin and Eagle, only 27 years old. He's got some baked-in injury risk. I think his highest sack season was like 7 with the Dolphins, but really talented player. He made an impact immediately when he came to Philly this year. Obviously didn't end how I was hoping. But yeah, where do you think Jalen Phillips lands this free agency?
So this team, I feel like they were banged up. They're bringing back their offensive line. Their running back won't be a rookie anymore, and they can address the wide receiver in the draft. So I feel the Chargers will pay him. And I think that'll be great for them, especially him getting to play with Harbaugh. And I think they'll give him a nice little contract. I know you say like the injuries. That's what happened in Miami. He wasn't really on the field, and it was tough. But he's so young and so, like you said, so talented still that I think they will give him the money. And the Chargers are a team that can be very good. So adding him will be a plus for them. So yeah, I could definitely see that.
Is he a free? I mean, he's a pending free agent, right? Like the Eagles have not fully let him go. I'm not convinced he actually. He's 27 years old.
Yeah.
No, he's full. I mean, there's obviously a desire to bring him back, but he's a full free agent. Like they traded for him on the expiring contract. So I don't know the dynamics of whether they could tag him or not, but I don't think they would tag him. I think it would either be we get a team friendly deal or let him sign elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I think the Chargers keep Mac as well, right? So you plug him in there with him, and they got a lot of cap space. Yeah, it's a nice little spot for him for sure.
Yep. Yeah, and it's crazy because the Eagles didn't even have to give up much. They gave their late third-round pick instead of that early one they had. So, of course, there goes Howie again.
Typical Howie. Yeah, trade him. If he walks, Howie's probably like, sign a big old deal because I think the higher contract he signs, that goes into the comp pick formulas for next year. So he's like, give me that third-round pick. Like, pay this guy big old money and I get a third-round pick. So, all right, let's go here. Tyler Squared, number 3 on the again the NFL.com list. We got Tyler Linderbaum, former Iowa Hawkeye, coming. My question for you, Tyler, is he coming back to the Midwest for your Colts, or where do you think he lands? He might be like, I know the center is not a glamorous position, but like he might be one of the better players in free agency with just his talent level. But who's looking for a center out there? Are the Colts in need? Where do you think Tyler Linderbaum lands?
I think the Colts with Tanner Bortolini, I think they're just going to stay with that. He's young, he's cheap. We don't have a lot of wiggle room. Again, we got things to address that we'll talk about later in this list. So I think I don't think he lands with the Colts. I thought maybe he does come back to the Midwest. Maybe Chicago, who really wants to shore up offensive line, brings him on board. But at the end of the day, I don't think the Ravens let him walk out the door. I think he's going to stick where he is. I think they're going to make sure that him and Lamar stay working together. I mean, they got moves that they just made. They need some of that stability. And a star walking out the door, even at the position of center, you don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he stay. That my bet is that he actually ends up staying.
Yeah, me too.
Where are the Ravens? Where are they at on cap? They are. There's chat. They got 19. I mean, there's chatter. They're going to give Lamar a big old extension this offseason, which that's another good offseason topic of do you give him yet another big money deal? So let's put that one on the shelf. All right, let's stay here with Tyler. Speaking of the Colts and our $300 million man, Alec Pierce. Now that if you weren't listening, we're not proposing he gets a $300 million contract. That was just the new cap number. But Tyler, this guy's a speedster. We're watching all these wide receivers run 4.2s today. Alec Pierce, let me pull this stat here, was 21 yards per catch the last 2 years and over 13 touchdowns. So clearly a deep threat, a talented wide receiver. I'm very curious to see what type of contract he gets. I think back to was it Christian Kirk got 4 years, $84 million, and we were like, what is that? Like, a different type of player, but I'd be curious if he could get something like that at, say 20 per year. Isn't like massive money when wide receiver ones are getting 30, 35 plus. So, is Indy going to be able to bring back all your free agents? And where do you think Alec Pierce lands? Also, as a Colts fan, do you want him back in Indy, or are you just happy to let him go?
I think he's absolutely a must-have, and I think we're going to get him signed at the right time. He was emerging last year. The deep threat is obviously there, and that's what he's known for, and that's how he stays on the field. But if you look back at that beginning half of the season, even late in the season when they needed a guy to get the ball, they went to Alec Pierce a lot, and it wasn't just on the deep balls. It was deep in cuts, different plays around the line to gain, and he was making everything. Like even if the ball wasn't perfect, he was going to come down with it. So I think we don't risk franchise tagging him, and then he has the next same year, because then he is going to be getting wide receiver one money. If you're going to get the contract, let's get it done now. We should have paid him at the beginning of the season because of how well he has been improving every single year, and I don't think that stops. I think he comes to even another level next year. He's just raised his game over and over again. So I think the Colts don't let him walk out the door. They get a multi-year deal done. That's probably, like you said, somewhere in that 23 to 25 range.
Yeah, I agree with you on that, Tyler. I think Alec Pierce is such a stud, man. They need to lock him in now. I think he reminds me a little bit. I mean, I know Cooper Kupp was like a PPR machine. He's much more of a deep threat, but just like the sureness of his hands and knowing that he's going to be like, if you toss him a decent ball, it's going to be a reception. And so I think that continuity on the outside for the Indianapolis Colts is something that they don't want to let walk out the door. So I also think they get that done. So
I agree with you, Tyler, that he's really good, but I disagree on where he's going to go. I think he actually goes to the Titans. They need a wide receiver one. Also, I think they're going to, with the fifth pick, I think they're going offensive line. So I think they're going with, they're going to pay. I'm going to go 4 years, $100 million. And it's going to take that because of the Colts giving him like that Christian Kirk contract. And then I think, okay, somebody like the Titans are going to come in there and say, nah, we'll give you $100 million. That's what it's going to have to take, to be honest.
Hey, Alec Pierce, if you're watching this show, just said you're getting 100. Our graphic is showing you'll be a $300 million man. I mean, we are swinging with the wild predictions tonight. So I
feel like he'd be a good fit as well on like the Commanders. They've got a lot of cap space, and I feel like they need someone who they can toss the ball to as well.
Listen, just as a comment said here in YouTube, when AJ Brown ships off to the Patriots, I mean, do you think the Eagles get in there and start and get into a bidding war for Alec Pierce?
Don't even get me going with Patriots fans on X thinking that he's coming there. See, they think that the Eagles operate like the Titans did when they traded AJ Brown. So I know that would finish the story. That would redeem all that was made wrong with Vrabel and AJ Brown. I know they're buds. They love each other. He's not getting traded. Like, it's just Patriots fans, just stop it. All right, let's.
I heard that Alo called AJ Brown Stephon Diggs light. I heard that somewhere. I don't know where. I heard that.
Stop that. All right, Booker. This one screams you. Buffalo. This screams you and the Buffalo Bills. Let's go. Trey Hendrickson is next up on our list. It screams the Buffalo Bills, but the $200K in cap space might be a little bit of an issue for you guys. So, is this the type of player where Josh Allen restructures? He's going to be 31 years old. So the Seahawks. I was going to say the Seahawks. The Bengals, dare I say, like, played this right and are not going to now give him big money into his upper 30s. Like, they're almost looking smart for the Cincinnati Bengals. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. But do you want your Buffalo Bills to pay a 31, 32, 33-year-old edge rusher, still with a lot of tread on the tires? But is this a Buffalo Bills fit, or are you sending him somewhere else?
I think it would be awesome to have him, but I think he's going to be too expensive, and you'd have to let go of some other areas, investing in other areas in order to get him. And so I don't think so. It's a core muscle injury. I don't think he's going to be on the Bengals for you're right. Like, the tag for him is through the roof. Where I think he's actually going to end up, and please keep in mind here, fellas, my picks of where I think people will end up is not necessarily based on team need as much as it's like, okay, who can show up to the table and throw down that money. And so think about this. The Las Vegas Raiders, just mentioning it again. You got Max Crosby and you got Hendrickson on that same D line, and the Raiders just have the money to do that, and they're going to draft some guys this year. And so I think the most likely spot, not necessarily where I want him to go, but the most likely spot to me, I think is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow, the Raiders are getting Malik Willis and Trey Hendrickson.
It kind of looks like I didn't do any research other than just on one team.
No, there's a guy later on this list that I think I like where your head's at of, hey, the Raiders have a lot of young talent. Now's the time to bulk up. They have a lot of young talent on offense, so spend your money on defense. Like, don't wait till Bowers and Ginty and Fernando need a big second contract. Like, bulk up the defense to build around those guys. So yeah, I love that for the Raiders. All right, let's do we want
to post that comment up here, or no? Do you don't want to see that?
Which comment you got for us? Go ahead. You throw it up there.
I'm just going to do it. Do you have anything to say about that, or
let's get that off of Tyler's face. Let's get that off of Tyler's face.
I think Cardi B is willing to date anyone, man. So probably.
Jalen Hurts is the godfather of his children. He's a family man. He's not dating no Cardi B, so get that out of here, man. Welders Fence.
Welders Fence, man.
Guy. Welders Fence, are you a Patriots fan? This guy's got to be a guy or girl. Has got to be a Patriots fan. So we'll wait to see the response there. All right, let's go linebacker. We've got a couple linebackers. Maybe we'll go two for the price of one here. Let's go off-ball linebackers. We got Devin Lloyd. Where am I? Okay, here it is. Wow, it's been a long day. 113 plus tackles the last 3 straight years. And then who's our other? I thought we had another off-ball linebacker. I guess not. Was not. Okay, so just Devin Lloyd.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's just
the only off-ball linebacker. So 113 tackles the last 3 years. We've seen the last couple of years with a Fred Warner, a Zach Bond. It used to be not an undervalued position, but something, especially as an Eagles fan, like, hey, you're not going to pay an off-ball linebacker. You're going to pay the edge rushers, the guys who can collapse the pocket. I think over the last couple of years, we've seen these guys increase in the value, I think, with how fast the game is. You've got these wide receivers running 4.2s. You better have a really talented middle linebacker that can chase these guys down. So, Devin Lloyd, talented player. Alo, who do you think should be signing, and should he get that $18 million per year type of deal? You know, is he in the same caliber as Fred Warner or Zach Bond, or is he going to be a little bit under those guys, or, you know, next man up gets a 18.105 type of contract?
No, yeah, I think he deserves it. I think it's also with next man up. But I will say, I mean, he's been productive. Whoever gets him, they know what they're going to be getting. Like you said, 113 tackles in the last 3 years each season. I mean, that's super impressive. But the team that I think needs to get on the phone with them as soon as possible, as soon as they're able to, is the Denver Broncos. They're at need at linebacker, and I think if they could take him and steal him from other teams, I possibly think that could be a big help for them to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, their defense is already nasty, but like you said, there's wide receivers out there running 4.2s and stuff. It's crazy. We got linebackers 6'5" running like 4.4. So yeah, I mean, he would be super, super big for the Broncos.
I heard that he wants to stay though. Like I know there's no talks. I don't know if maybe the Jags are just not able to pay him what he wants. But when a player says he wants to stay, it makes me think, maybe he's willing to take a little less in order to do so. Otherwise, you wouldn't, hold your cards open like that and say, I want to stay here.
Yeah. Now, when he sees that the Jags are $15 million in the hole, maybe he doesn't want to stay. I did see something that maybe all those Patriots fans out there, Brian Thomas Jr., maybe he might be on the market. Maybe Travis Hunter really is that dude. So there's a whole bunch of rabbit trails we could take there. But, why don't you go after Brian Thomas Jr., Patriots fan? Leave A.J. Brown alone, all right? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this to me screams, and I know it's cliche, but this screams like a Pittsburgh Steelers or a Baltimore Ravens. If they don't sign him, then my beloved Nakobe Dean, he's been a beast. I love watching him just eviscerate running backs when they're attempting to pass protect. One of those two guys is for sure going to Pittsburgh or Baltimore. I think that they're always in the market for these type of guys. And Pittsburgh, I think they're probably a little salty after their defense wasn't as quality last year as it could be. I think you bring in a young linebacker like this, that's going to help TJ Watt and the boys, look like a top defense again. So, that's my thoughts there. All right, Tyler. This is where what do you got? 33, we said. Daniel Jones.
Oh,
is he
man.
coming back to the Colts? We talked about it earlier. Malik Willis, if he calls, or if the Raiders call him, does he answer that phone? If you're Daniel Jones, I mean, surely he's got to want to go back to the Colts. He had great success. The coach is still there. Do the Colts resign him? And what's your ideal contract number for Daniel Jones? I'm assuming you'd like him back with that.
You want him back. I think the Colts need to sign him back. I think it's important. That's why they need Alec Pierce back. They need that receiver back to make everything go. But I think we got to be fair. I think we have to be fair. He did have an Achilles injury. We don't know how that's going to affect him coming back. I get it. A lot of these players recover better, faster than ever before, and it always seems like a new precedent is set every time these types of injuries happen. I'm the old man, so I remember when ACL injuries were career-ending, and it was nonsense to even think they'll ever be the same player again. Now they come back in, 6 months? And I think, like, Achilles was kind of the same thing. Achilles was you don't recover from that. You're never the same player again, and you're not going to come back. And now all of a sudden, players are coming back from him again and getting back to it. Deo Adengbo, I got to see it myself. He came back from Achilles injury and got a contract. So is it possible? Yes, but I think there's still so many question marks. Also, we saw Daniel Jones through the easiest part of the schedule and then unfortunately got injured and never really saw him in the teeth of the schedule. And when he started to get into there, we started to shift downwards. We started to lose. Like we were on a streak, and maybe that was because of the bone fragment. But the point is, there's a lot of variables. So for me personally, I think it's a must sign, but it's a 2-year deal at $60 million, and you get half of it guaranteed for the first year. We see what we see, and we work it out off of that second year. Does Daniel Jones want 4 years at $120 million, though? Probably. He probably thinks I showed what I needed to, but I don't know that he's going to have that market from other teams. I just don't think he is. I think other teams are going to either draft or they're going to get one of these other free agent QBs because they're not coming off an Achilles. So I think there's ways that both sides need to make concessions. But if Jones is just absolutely demanding that, I think you look at the franchise tag and you just keep him here and say, you're going to prove it on the franchise tag, and we go from there. I hope it doesn't go that route. We need other pieces. So I need some of that cap space to stay there. Maybe the Raiders want like $200 million and Max Crosby finds his way over to Indianapolis. I don't know. I'm just saying. But yes, I think they need to re-sign him and use the franchise tag if they have to.
Does it make you nervous though, Tyler? Like to hitch your wagon? I know what he did last year in Indianapolis. I mean, when he's on fire, he is on fire. But the man has an Achilles tear, and it's not like Aaron Rodgers in the peak of his career having an Achilles tear. You know, it's Daniel Jones, who already comes with a lot of baggage and question marks. And now this injury that is just, I mean, people can heal now and things can work out for them. But to hit your wagon, it just kind of scares me. Do you think now's the time to move to Riley Leonard and like just get that man in the position where he needs to be that starting quarterback? I don't know.
I think absolutely. That's why I want a short deal. I don't think you can rely on him to make a full season until he proves it. I got to hear nonstop about that, being an AR believer, like that he never finished a full year. Now I got to watch him get shipped off to Minnesota and KOC do his thing and revive his career and watch him just throw bombs to Justin Jefferson. But I digress. Yes, I completely agree. There are a lot of red flags. And you got to be aware of him. I think you need to either franchise tag him or do that 2-year deal. And if he gets injured or the Achilles isn't there, yes, Riley Leonard is your backup plan, and you see what you got on him. Because the other thing is, I'm a Ballard apologist. I've protected him. I've stood by him because I think the overall roster has a lot of great players on it. But it's never been proven because the quarterback position has been snake bitten since we did what we did to Andrew Luck. So I think that I don't want Chris Ballard dictating that Daniel Jones is the answer for the next 4 years.
I was going to say, I honestly disagree. The only reason why I do is because the Colts gave up their 2 first-round picks and got Sauce Gardner. So they obviously believed in Daniel Jones. They gave him Jonathan Taylor. Oh, he already had Jonathan Taylor. But Jonathan Taylor was playing out of his mind. And Daniel Jones got hurt. Jonathan Taylor was not the same. Tyler Warren, Daniel Jones got hurt. He was not the same. I would pay him. The only thing is, we all know Riley Leonard is not the answer. We saw him in there. I would give Kirk Cousins a year. I'd give him a year. I'd let him play. And then when Daniel Jones is ready to come back, I'd let him, because we look at Daniel Jones on like the Giants and like, that's not fair. That's a horrible organization. When you gave him pieces and you gave him a team, he looked great. We were all on here like, oh man, we can't pick against the Colts. I mean, it's like, we talked about it for weeks. Like, oh, I'm not betting against the Colts anymore. I'm giving Daniel Jones his money.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry. Did I hear, were you saying Kirk Cousins, the Colts? Is that what I just heard? Or
yeah.
I think they would riot if that happens. Like another
Indianapolis would burn if we bring in one more quarterback.
The reason why I say Kirk Cousins is because the Colts like kind of gave up that if we don't have Daniel Jones, we could do like a year without him. But now that you gave up your 2 first-round picks for Sauce Gardner, you're not no more in tank mode. If you guys don't fall out and don't do good, you're not getting any picks. So it's just like, for me, it's like you need a veteran quarterback out there that's going to hold the fort until your franchise quarterback comes back, in my opinion.
Well, to me, I think the 2 first-round picks is a good endorsement for, hey, you're going to re-sign Daniel Jones. Like I think this. Even as I was looking through that list there's not that many teams that really need a quarterback. So, like, those jobs are going to, they're going to fill up quick. I mean, we're talking the Jets, not the Steelers. Maybe the Steelers need a quarterback. Who knows? The Cardinals, Colts, Falcons, I guess, are trying to figure out what they're doing. The Browns.
Hey, Tua's out there.
But it's not I guess the Vikings could trade JJ McCarthy, and they might be in the market. All right, let's do one more here, and let's wrap up on this.
The Colts
one.
should definitely bring in Tua.
Yeah. Would they riot more with Tua or Kirk Cousins, Tyler?
What great picks to pick from, man.
Oh man, brutal. Hey, listen, maybe he ends up in the Broncos. Sean Payton's throwing Bo Nix under there for having injury issues, so he might be needing a quarterback.
And I know we don't have time to talk about this right now, but next show we got to talk about Anthony Richardson, man. Like 23-year-old. Where is that guy going to end up? And you just said it. Like, there's not a lot of landing spots, and I know there's some character things going on there where people are unsure. But like, the man is still an infant. Like, he's got. Yeah, we got to talk about that, boys.
Yeah, let's go rapid fire on this one. Let's go rapid fire on this one. On our graphic here, a thumbnail on YouTube. Kane Walker, reigning, defending Super Bowl MVP. The Chiefs, Texans, Titans all have rumors. They all want him, along with Jeremiah Love. But Booker, is Matty Ice going to lose his mind and be a little sad when Kenneth Walker leaves the Seahawks? And what's your quick take on where does KW3 sign this spring?
Well, I'm not. This is blasphemy and heresy, I'm sure. I'm not a big Kenneth Walker truther. I think that he had an incredible year and MVP, obviously. So he has all the leverage, but the injury history of this man is like a ticking time bomb. So I'm not sure where he lands, but what he's asking for, I think on paper, he can ask for it. But in reality, I'm not sure that he's worth what he's asking for. So, gosh, I don't know who. I mean, I guess I'm going to pick KC. I'm just going to pick KC. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, be interesting fit for sure. So, well, thank you everybody for spending your Saturday evening with us. Again, as always, we're here Saturday night, 6 p.m. plus or minus, talking because Cardi B and AJ Brown dating. You know, that's the type of stuff we're covering here. We've got Iran bomb, politics. That's
breaking $300 million contracts.
Is all about $300 million contracts. Like, that's what we're all about. No. We're here talking sports. Appreciate everybody in the comments. Talking sports with us tonight. As always, hit that subscribe button. It's free. It's easy to do. It helps us out a ton. You can follow ALO Leagues on X. Tyler, Mr. Diesel, Duffy. We miss you tonight, but Duffy should be back with us next week. And y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next time. So peace out.